Hi, I'm Jeff Varney, Director of Advisory Services here at APQC. I want to take a few minutes to show how we can start to connect the dots between these knowledge management assets we've been talking with you about today. When we think about it, I want to illustrate it through a couple of our member experiences. We'll start with Mercer. With Mercer, what we find is that they've been on this knowledge management journey for over 2 decades. And as they started, they really had to now say, where's our critical focus? And it really was focused around content, getting content under control and ensuring that the content was there to enable the business. Now, along with content, there was a community approach. But they had to figure out how to put these in place and create kind of an intranet experience along with communities to get started. And that required them to go through some stage setting or call to action, figuring out a strategy and approach, and making sure they had something that they could actually take action on. It wasn't too broad or ambiguous, and now implementing, deploying, sustaining, etc. Really illustrating the KM framework, knowledge management framework approach. But in doing so, they couldn't just stop there. They had to recursively kind of apply that KM framework and look at stages of maturity, evolving business needs, etc. And what that required then was a more focused transition over time to a more integrated approach to communities, about 10 years into the journey. 5 or 6 years after that, they had to now go and say, can we consolidate a distributed KM approach into a centralized approach and build an even stronger intranet? And now a more holistic approach that spans those 3 areas of content, community, and collaboration through this overall knowledge strategy. And in doing so, foundationally from the beginning, they recognized the power of the content lifecycle, or what we call the knowledge flow process. By awareness of and then aligning the work they do to that lifecycle, they would ensure that they can now understand how to enable, but also support each of those stages in the knowledge flow process, their lifecycle. That guided them towards the types of structures and services and skills and competencies they would need to do so, to enable the business, but also support the business. And on top of all of that, they've evolved to the point where to sustain and ensure the future and be able to adapt to what is coming ahead that they can't necessarily anticipate, they have to have a KM professional development program, which builds the competencies of the workers today doing knowledge management, but also helps to now prepare the next generation with skills, competencies, and transfer that to those in the business that need to take advantage of it for the business outcomes. So ultimately, they've created a systemic approach that's evolved over time through this recursive application of these assets that we've been sharing with you. And that's what really drives success. Don't just look at each asset individually, but look at how they fit together and can, over time, be reapplied in a repeatable approach to give you the success you're looking for.